God of War is incredible. Rarely do video games exceed expectations and change the entire gaming world to such a degree that you can directly pinpoint when the entire industry changed. Super Mario Bros., Doom, Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, Halo, Resident Evil 4, Minecraft, The Last of Us, GTA 5, Breath of the Wild, God of War. Just like the games that came before it, God of War's reverberations throughout the entire industry are still seen over 5 years later. God of War is the pinnacle of narrative storytelling in video games, and everyone has been trying to achieve it since, but none being able to fully capture it. The magic of God of War is the interweaving of its storytelling and its gameplay. The story is interweaved effortlessly with the gameplay as you naturally go from cutscenes to gameplay in a single motion, never allowing for your immersion in the world to be broken. Loading screens are now way of the past as God of War prioritizes achieving one incredible story without ever breaking it up for the player. By constantly using hidden loading screens and using creative ways to be able to load maps before you get into them, it ends up creating what feels like a 20-hour film that doesn't have a single cut, allowing for an experience that really hasn't been replicated since. The story of God of War may seem simple on its premise, as it's the story of Kratos and his son, Boy, as they carry the ashes of his mother to the highest peak in the 9 realms. But it's more about their journey to achieve that goal than the actual destination of getting their mother to the highest peak. Within the first hour, you're instantly thrown into these incredible fights and into this incredible world, showing how much larger and more complex the story will be than you originally thought. And that momentum is never let up throughout the entire game. Every mission is a different place, a brand new area, or a new world, and it just keeps leaving your jaw on the floor. The world building and character building is so strong that it is effortless to just completely lose yourself in this world, never wanting to put the controller down, as it never breaks that sense of total immersion and feeling of unity throughout the entire game. Every aspect of this game feels completely in sync with everything else. Video games have this ability to get very disjointed very fast and have gameplay that can contradict what is being said in other parts of the game or story. But God of War feels perfect. Every cutscene feels like an extension of the game and the combat that has been set up. The gameplay, just like Kratos in his 5-year hiatus, has evolved. It is no longer a hack and slash, and instead a much slower combat system, yet still retaining that juggling and more aggressive hack and slash abilities that the series is known for. And it all feels incredible, every hit feeling just as strong as Kratos, and most of all, it feels extremely fair. The gameplay can be challenging, yet when you do land a hit, the character will let their guard down, allowing you to crash into them, slam them into the air, whip out your blades, and crush them with your axe, allowing you to feel like an absolute god while still understanding how Kratos is holding back much more than he is showing. The way the story depicts Kratos is incredible, showing a man who is trying to move on, who just can't seem to put his old life to rest. His son Atreus as well is an amazing addition, allowing us to see how Kratos has changed and how he's also though very much the same person with his no-nonsense attitude about everything.
I'm sorry.
Do not be sorry. Be better.
The story of Atreus learning more about his father while us, the audience, slowly leveling up and getting stronger as him is just absolutely perfect. And the pacing of the story and the leveling up of our abilities and characters as well is also just amazingly paced. All of that slowly building up to an amazing finale that feels completely earned, and a journey and adventure that will leave you speechless. It will leave you shocked. It will leave you emotional as you truly get to the end of this story of these two characters that you truly have grown to love as they try to complete this extremely personal journey. This is the greatest video campaign that I have ever played, and it is a masterpiece in video game design and execution. It feels so perfectly crafted in every aspect, yet it's so large in scope that you just have to sit back and wonder, how did they even accomplish this? Everything about this narrative will leave your jaw on the floor, and as the credits rolled, I just sat back in silence because I knew there was probably never going to be a video game that will ever have this excellent of a story. Other than the sequel, of course, but that's a review later down the road. The narrative and main campaign missions are absolutely perfect, and I have never played a better narratively driven game, and that is why I'm going to give God of War hold up a minute. There's an open world component as well to this game. I haven't even talked about it. I bet it will be just as fun and engaging as the main story, and
you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir!
Now, the open world aspects of this game aren't horrible, but they do leave a lot to be desired due to how perfect the main story of the game is. These side missions and activities you do just feel like a different team ended up working on them. They feel way less inspired as you just go on a beach, do a few puzzles, kill a few guys, and get back on the boat. It wouldn't be that bad if it was all optional, but the game does encourage you to pursue exploring, since that is how you're going to get better gear and abilities. Sometimes exploring does have some fun little areas, but most of the time it feels like Sea of Thieves, where it's just the repetition of go to new beach, get the stuff, stuff, get back on the boat, repeat. And it does stand out as the rest of the game is so perfectly in tune with the main story and goal of trying to get the mother to the top of the mountain, but then the side missions just feel out of place as we just dink around for loot so that we can be able to beat the main story. It doesn't ruin the game, and a lot of it is fun, but it just is an area where it leaves a little more to be desired. Yet, I can still not recommend this game enough. Even with its shortcomings, it is one of the greatest narratively driven video games to ever be made. Every narratively driven game has tried to be it, and still, games coming out today are in its shadow, wishing that they could be half as effective and as powerful as God of War. This is one of the easiest recommendations I can ever give. It is still absolutely incredible over 5 years later, and I give God of War a big 8 out of 10. Could have been a 10 if it didn't have Musselbeheim or whatever it's called. That thing killed my soul. But at the same time, this game gave me life every time Kratos said boy. And with that, Kratos, take the outro away.
Boy, 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 son.